Young Junk! Ow! Good evening, sidekicks and hedgefolk out there in the Geek Nation, and thank you for tuning in with your dials. That's how YouTube works, right? Into one of the longest-running comic book and pop culture podcasts amongst all lycanthropes, CultPop Podcast Live, episode 110. Yay. If you're new here, this is a place where we talk about comics and movies and TV and games and wolf viruses and all the other things that scratch your nerdy little itches. We're broadcasting in real time from Young Junk HQ, a bomb-ass podcasting production space here in Manjunk, Philadelphia, PA. Hey, Dylan.
Yeah, sorry. I was checking the stream. What's up?
Hey, Dylan.
You don't work here.
If the people out in there want to do a here, how they do?
Well, it's so easy to do it here. All you got to do is look down there, and you'll see my email, and that is where you can contact me and let me know if you'd like to start a podcast, and I would love to do that.
It's not even just start a podcast. If you'd like to improve your podcast.
Yeah.
For sure.
See Inside the Morgue. We very much improved since joining Young Junk.
SE: inside the morgue.
Believe it or not, this is the better version of my show. This is CultPop. I was not good. I'm your host, JD of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA, 19127, a rad-ass comic shop that caters to you specifically, buy my stuff. Also, here on this mission to talk about pop culture stuff from inside the morgue, Alice.
It's me. They let me out today.
And Noel.
Huh?
And then you already met Dylan.
Yeah, he's over there.
Where?
Hello. Tonight, we're going to review all the monsters. Every single monster.
Yep.
We're going to be doing Creature Commandos
Tier list
Season
monsters.
1, as well as Lee Whannell's reinvention of the classic Universal monster Wolfman in theaters
Wolf?
now.
Man.
Wolfman. That's what I said.
You got to stop.
No.
There's a space.
Wolf.
Long pause.
Mang.
Man.
Man. There we go.
Oh, Carl's in the chat.
Some people are like
Hi, Carl
Wolfman,
Carls.
and you can't hear
You got to
the dash
take a beat.
or one word Wolfman.
Wolfman. Yeah.
It's just Wolf. Man.
So we're going to be talking about Wolfman in theaters now. But
Man.
before we do all that, a gentle reminder, the
Man.
gentlest, most delicate of reminders, that if you're here
A
live,
tickle, almost a tickle.
feel
Like
free.
a gentle, like a just the surface.
Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when we do the newness. You can also do things like get in the chat.
Carl.
Like Carl's. And you can email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com. Speaking of emails, we got letters.
We got a letter.
Oh, we got lots and lots of letters. This one's called For the Wednesday Night Live Show.
Where?
I miss when it was called Gutter Talk. Chris, this is a different show than Gutter Talk. It's not like, because Len and I did a show called Gutter Talk.
The reason for the name was in between the panels, the stuff about comics and pop culture that's not the comics explicitly.
Yeah.
Gutter Talk. We don't talk about that anymore, so it's a different title.
Yeah.
Period.
And to be fair, I couldn't be bothered to come up with a clever name for this show. So now it's just CultPop Live.
We're
If
live.
anyone out there has a name that we could call this other than CultPop Live, you email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com. Oh, yeah, the email. I'm reading it. Hey, y'all. Welcome back from the holidays, says Chris. Boy, do I have a lot to say. I was going to rewatch Mission Impossible 2 before writing this, but why bother? We know the movie isn't worth it. It came out fresh off Woo's success from Face Off, and it makes sense they gave him this movie, but boy, what a stinker. It's the worst of the franchise, and it makes sense it almost killed it for 6 years till Tom watched Alias and realized JJ could reset the course.
Getting ahead of ourselves, buddy.
Nothing works. Not the dueling motorcycle scene, not the doves, and
Wrong.
not the exploding sunglasses.
It
Wrong.
doesn't work. Oh, okay. Exploding
Wrong.
sunglasses.
Wrong.
Feel
wrong.
personally attacked.
I agree it's not a good movie, but you're pointing out the wrong stuff.
It's currently number 7 on his list, but as soon as the final reckoning comes out, I'm sure we'll move down the list to number 8. But if you want to see a good movie,
No, I don't. I actually don't like good movies.
go see Better Man.
Oh,
The-
fuck you.
The Robbie Williams played by a CGI chimpanzee movie. It's an easy 5 stars, and it's gonna talk a lot. It's gonna take a lot to beat it as my #1 movie of the year. Since I originally wrote this, I've seen it twice more, and I'm probably going to see it again tomorrow or maybe Sunday. And then he included a screenshot of a joke for Alice. Alice, are you ready?
I'm so excited. Well,
ready.
Carl's asked me a question in the chat that I'm very excited to address, and now I have something here for me.
Do Carl's thing.
Carl's, yes, I have listened, and I love them. And it's when people recommend me music or a show, and I watch and or listen to that thing, and I'm like, this is what cool people listen to. So this person thinks I'm cool. That's how I felt listening to Emil and the Sniffers. So I was flattered.
Don't tell her the truth, Carl.
Don't tell her the truth. If you
cool.
think
We're not cool.
if you don't think
Don't
I'm cool, don't say it. But I love them, and I thank you so much for this,
For what?
the CD.
Emil and the
Who
Sniffers
is it?
Rip. They're coming
What?
to Philly
Who?
in May.
Carl's,
they're
thank
coming
you.
to Philly in May.
Carl.
In May. I believe it's
Emil and the Sniffers, I thought I said.
Did you hear him? They're coming.
They're coming to Philly?
in May.
Oh, hell yeah.
I mean, so can I have it? I haven't listened to it yet. I did listen
Yes.
to crap. Tism.
Tism. I was going to say Tism.
I did listen to Tism. It is like MC Chris
Oh.
through a weird punk rock filter.
So Adam and
So-
his package meets MC Chris.
But it's not rap.
Oh.
So, but the lyrics, like the level of the lyrics are like really, really intricate and very, very like pop culture aware.
Oh,
But then it's like really, really, really crunchy kind of
Nice.
punk.
Oh, crunchy punk, not crunchy like hippie.
No. I mean
Crunchy
like distortion crunchy.
And how do you say Emil?
I say Emil, but I might be.
Emil and the Sniffers are the
Emil.
shit, and I am glad that you love them, says
I
Carl
do.
Carls.
Thank you for introducing them to me. I am so excited about
What's
it.
the joke you got? For
Oh,
me?
and the joke that Christopher St. Saucy sent for Alice says, "Who's got 7 thumbs and just got fired from the morgue?" It took a second.
Or I just pull out 7 thumbs. Me.
It's me.
I get it.
That's good. I like
Tism
that.
rules.
I like that a lot, Chris.
Because you took the thumbs. I get it.
Oh, is that what it means?
Yeah,
didn't get
that's pretty funny. Because
I took at least
'cause,
5 thumbs.
so seven.
rude.
7 is like it's 7. It's three and a half bodies, 3 people,
3.5.
7
Oh
thumbs.
yeah, 3.5. Okay.
I needed to say all right thumbs. It's not 7 people.
It could just be if I'm including my own 2 thumbs.
Oh, so 5 people.
5 people.
Yeah.
Or 2.5. It's
2.5.
It's still odd. Yeah.
Thank you so much for writing in, Christopher St. Saucy. Good night, and Carl Carls. Thank you for the gifts.
Yes,
he
thank
messaged
you.
me on the side and asked if I got a chance to watch The Gate, just to make sure that the DVD works, and I haven't yet. But I'm gonna crack it open just to make sure.
Oh, also, Carl, you're awesome. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes,
Carl-
you are.
That's it.
Thank you so
That's
much.
all.
And Chris, you're awesome too. Thank you for the joke. I
Everyone
love that.
send us more stuff.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm excited to watch Strange Darling. Sorry, I know.
I am also excited. So
Oh, yeah,
that's
next
for
week.
next week.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go.
Sorry, jump the gun.
So here comes a section of the show wherein I ask my friends Noel and Alice what has been popping for them this week. Hey, Alice.
Me.
What do you think was popping for Noel this
I
week?
knew you were gonna do that.
I was gonna
I
be a
don't
jerk.
know. I'm not gonna read the screen. What's popping for Noel?
I have 2 things. Which one do you want to go first?
The
The one you
one-
don't know or the one you do know?
The one I do know.
Okay, so earlier this month, we, the collective we, as a
big-
culture,
The big we.
as a
Society.
culture, have lost David Lynch,
Yes.
who I, as a youngin who was obsessed with movies, I always appreciated him, but I never really explored it all that much. And I have a really tenuous relationship with Twin Peaks. I've watched it in reverse for the most part, which I almost feel like that's oddly appropriate.
You mementoed it.
Yeah, I could see Dylan's face, and he's making a weird one.
Well, I'm wondering, like,
Wow.
did you watch The Return?
Yeah.
Then Fire Walk with Me, then the original
I watched The
series?
Return, nothing else, and now
Now you're going back to
I'm
the
watching
original
Twin
series.
Peaks.
Okay, I didn't know if you were like, all right, let's start with the last episode and make my way to
Oh
the
no,
first
no,
episode.
I've collectively backwards, not
Gotcha.
Yeah, so
No,
like I
that's an-
started at the
that-
end, and then I now double back
Watching-
into
I
the
mean,
front.
given how
Reverse.
elevated The Return is, it's almost
It's
like just a different way to experience it.
so weird. So like I back in I think The Return came out in 2017 or 2016, 2017.
Ago?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
Time means nothing.
I did not have Showtime, but I was dog sitting for a couple that did have Showtime. And I was like, well, I don't have this service, so let me just watch anything that I can't get. And I was like, I like David Lynch. That's cool. I'll watch this. I had no idea what the hell was going on. I had no context for all the characters other than they were quirky and now older. And I watched 10 episodes in 2 days.
What? Oh.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
I genuinely could not stop. It was like watching a poem that you didn't really get, but you understand what language is. It's very fucking weird.
Get that vibe.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the new episodes were weekly, so I didn't get to finish it. So I waited till they were done, and then I got a 30-day free trial for Showtime and finished it.
Through it.
I still don't know what the hell's going. I think I got it. I think I get it. But I also know that so like David Lynch has a way of not giving you answers, but you still feel satisfied. Whereas other creators do that, and you're like, well, you're just being a dick.
Yeah.
like I don't know, David Lindelof. Like you're just not answering it to be cute.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. So when he passed, I wanted to watch some stuff, and I asked my wife, "Do you want to try Twin Peaks?" She was like, "I guess so." We watched 13 episodes in like 2 or 3 days. We just could not stop.
I miss those days.
It is such a weird show. It's a soap opera. It's on its face a soap opera with like everyone is cheating on everyone. Every emotion is exaggerated, and there's huge music stings for absolutely every line of dialogue.
The theme music is wonderful.
Yeah, Angelo Badalamenti.
Oh, great. And I'm sorry. I also started watching it last night. I just out of nowhere, I was like, oh, you know what? Why not? I had seen Fire Walk With Me in the theater upon release, having never seen either peak. So that was new to me.
Not
But so
a one.
this time, not a single one. And then last night I threw it on, and I forgot what were you saying?
That's a good show.
It's a good show. I forget where I was going with that, but you had said something that
it's so incredibly dated, but also not at all. In the show,
the credits. It's a series, but the credits feel like movie credits that go on for quite a while.
I skip them now. It's a 2-minute long opening credit sequence.
Yeah, it's a
episode.
whole feature film credits worth of credits.
It's such a weird show, and we're halfway through the second season now. The first season's only 8 episodes long. Second season's 22. We're halfway through the second season, and you could tell that they're kind of like stretching it, and it's becoming more like
Deep press storytelling?
more like a poem, more like they literally bake in plot elements that tell you, the audience, don't worry, we're gonna take a while. Yeah. Like he literally has visions of the giant that's just like, the clues will come in time, and I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah. Okay, fine. But it's so wonderful, and the acting is just so fucking ridiculously good. The first episode has the sequence with Laura Flynn Boyle, James Marshall, and they're high schoolers. They're 45-year-old high schoolers,
Classic.
who their classmate and best friend just got killed, and it's 1990, so information does not travel fast. They're in class. They don't know where Laura is. Outside the window, you see somebody scream and run. A cop shows up and like whispers to the teacher. And there's this silent sequence of her best friend thinking the worst, looking at the empty chair next to her that belonged to Laura, looking at the other student and just realizing. And it's like 40 seconds of the best acting I think I may have ever seen.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
That breakdown scene is so good. The staging for the other breakdown scene where the parents.
Yes.
So this obviously Laura Palmer's dead. It's the whole thing of the show.
The first 2 minutes of the episode.
The
Laura
very
Palmer's
first. It's the cold open. And
doom 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 doom.
there's a whole sequence where the mom is freaking out because Laura was not in bed. It's time for school. She can't find her daughter. Maybe she went out with her boyfriend for a run in the morning, or maybe she went to school early, or blah blah blah. She's like trying to track her down, and she can't find her daughter. The dad, who's played by, who is that guy?
Ray Wise.
Ray Wise. What a weird dude. Ray Wise is the dad, and he's in a business meeting. And then he gets called out of the business meeting to talk to the wife who's calling him to say, is Laura with you? And she's like, no, why would, blah, 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 blah. In comes a police officer.
Can I guess, Andrew?
Yeah.
Like it's framed, the way it's framed. He is at work, which is a lodge. He is on the phone. His back is to the large windows. He is having a frantic phone call, trying to calm her down. We see the sheriff truck pull up, come out, walking towards him. So like you're seeing in real time them about to give him information that he is trying to convince his wife is not a thing. And then they have a dialogueless exchange of, is this about Laura? And it just looks, and it was just crushing. It is such a good, and then she's screaming on the other side of the receiver because she's like, are they there? What do they say? What do they say? Dude.
At no point does anyone say to the wife that your daughter is dead. She just hears the silence of her husband because she says that, the sheriff's here. And all she hears is his shocked silence. And that's all she needs to know, and has her breakdown. It's such a great scene. I made that face about the acting because all the acting is so dialed up to 11 that it's kind of obnoxious.
Okay.
Except for that scene, the Lara Flynn Boyle scene in the class.
Yeah.
That was great.
But that's the thing about this show. When you get a little further in, it is dialed up to 11. Literally, the characters in the show watch basically a telenovela, a soap opera called Invitation to Love that foreshadows scenes. Like they're watching this like terrible soap opera. So it's just like they're in parallel. But in between all of that craziness, there will be one or two sequences of just either rip your heart out or make you feel hopeful about the world. Yeah. There is a sequence between Bobby Briggs and his father, who is you haven't even met yet. He's a major. Literally wears his full regalia uniform everywhere. Mm-hmm. They're having like dinner at the family dinner, and he speaks like a staccatic robot with 1,700 words instead of just saying, how are you? Mm-hmm. Later in the season, or I think it's the second episode of season 2, he has an entire speech about describing his vision to his son, and it's the most wonderful, touching thing I've ever seen in fucking filmed fiction.
Okay.
Yeah, but it comes out of nowhere. So like 90% of the show is this like weird, over the top procedural with lots and lots of soap opera flourishes, but then there will be a sequence or an exchange that is so gut-wrenching or emotionally earnest that you're like, how do they get away with making this? Yeah. This didn't exist before and will never exist again.
Just watching the first episode, I found myself thinking, this was on television?
Yeah.
This was just like on regular television? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was David Lynch a name before Twin Peaks?
A little bit, yeah.
Did he have a little bit of
Eraserhead,
Eraserhead, of course.
Also Blue Velvet,
yeah,
and something else.
Mulholland Drive.
No, that was after.
That was post.
That was 90. That was late 90s. Lost Highway, then Mulholland Drive,
Highway,
and Wild at Heart. Like he was known for eclectic film, and then with Mark Frost developed a TV show.
Interesting. So that was what was popping for you.
Yeah.
Was there a secondary popping?
There's one more thing, and I'll be really quick about it.
Too?
So back in 2022, they the world announced a movie that I was very excited about. It was a remake of a childhood classic for me.
Too Fast, Too Furious.
He's hiding his screen from me.
Because you don't like to let me slow roll things. You cheater. Looking at my screen.
I wasn't.
I felt like you were hiding it from me, and I'm like,
all I was doing was watching you turn your laptop.
Yeah, well, it's fine.
I don't have my glasses on. I cannot see.
This happened 2022. It was filmed. It was done in 2023. Premiered at a bunch of film festivals. Tons of amazing reviews. Everyone's super excited about it. And then the studio got cold feet and were like, "This is unreleasable. We don't know how to market this." And they tried to bury the movie. They just announced a couple days ago. That the distributor responsible for Terrifier, bought the US and Canada rights and are going to release it unrated wide in theaters. And that is The Toxic Avenger, starring Peter Dinklage, Kevin Bacon, Elijah Wood,
Awesome.
Jacob Tremblay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You texted me and Costa about
I did text you and Costa about this. Yeah, I was like, oh, that's not that thread. Whatever. I am so fucking pumped for it. It's got a 92% Rotten Tomatoes score. It's written and directed by Macon Blair, who is an actor. He was in Blue Ruin and Green Room.
yeah.
He's also and
I like
he
that guy.
wrote and directed. I don't feel at home in this place anymore. I don't feel. What's the full title of that movie?
I don't feel at home in this world anymore.
Awesome
I
movie.
believe so. Yeah, yeah.
With
Great.
Elijah Wood,
Sleeper.
Oh, and what is
Yellow
her name?
Jackets,
Yeah, the Yellow Jackets. That's her name.
and Jane Levy,
Which yellow jacket?
the main Yellow
wife.
Jacket, the mom, the wife.
Oh, the adult
She's so great.
Adult.
Jason-
Yeah.
Lewinsky.
Oh yes,
Monica Lin- no.
not Monica Lewinsky.
Not Monica
Not
Lewinsky.
Monica Lewinsky.
Minsky? Monica Minsky? Something Minsky?
God damn it!
It's Linsky, I'm pretty sure.
Linsky.
I know she's
Melanie Linsky.
Jason Ritter's
I don't
wife.
know. Sounds right.
Uh,
She's great. I
That
love
does
her.
sound right.
But I was so excited for this movie. Didn't think it was going to see the light of day, and now we're going to get to see it in theaters, and I'm very, very
So this
excited.
wasn't anything that was popping for you.
I think it's popping.
It
for
is
the,
Melanie
It's popping for the
Linsky.
world.
Melanie Linsky.
And she's a
I
New
think this is a
Zealand
big deal
actress.
for the world, and
I think we're going to
it's
do an episode.
Very important.
We have to do the original and then the remake.
Look. I don't need an excuse to watch all the
Like a
Toxic
sequel.
Avenger movies. They're terrible,
Yeah.
I love
but amazing.
stuff.
We got
Hey, Alice, what was popping for you this week?
I binged, along with Costa, a show on FX/Hulu called Say Nothing. We were super stoked about the show before it came out because it's based on one of our favorite books of. I shouldn't have started that because I don't know what year it came out, but it was like 2018 or 2019 when we read it. It's a book by Patrick Radden
Our
Keefe
favorite
by this
books of the past.
of the past. It's still one of my favorite books, but it was like my top book of whatever year I read it. It's a book by Patrick Radden Keefe, but
2018.
2018. Yeah, so I either read it in 2018 or the year after, but it's a fantastic book, and a fantastic show. It's a drama, but it's so good. So the concept of the show is a single mother of 10 named Jean McConville is abducted from her home in the 70s, and she's never seen again. And then alongside trying to get into that mystery, they also get into the Irish Republican Army and the troubles of Northern Ireland and the other people that are disappeared, they call it. And it's such good storytelling. It's one of my favorite things where they take a true story in history and I don't know,
Zhuzh it up.
zhuzh it, and tell it like it's like a fiction story where it's like, oh my God, I wonder what's going to happen next, even though like it's history. I know what happened next, but I'm like, oh my God, what are they going to do? And it's such a good show, such good acting, so well cast. And then if you want to read the book, it is so well researched, such a good book. Oh,
Wow, okay.
I'm obsessed.
I know little to nothing about the Irish Republican Army
I didn't until I read this book.
and also the troubles in Northern Ireland. Like
Again, I
I
didn't
Yeah.
until I read this book.
Okay.
It's
It's
yeah.
good.
Yeah, it's very good. I recommend both.
Yeah, I don't.
It's heavy subject matter, but it's very good.
Okay.
Yeah, I that's something else I've been kind of getting into this past week. The idea of like I don't need to know anything. You know, like it's almost better when you don't know anything. Like the discourse about Better Man was like, of course nobody went and saw it. Nobody knows who Robbie Williams is. You don't fucking need to know
Right.
Yeah.
the ins and outs of the topic, and or it's like you're there to just learn or find out. Not
Yeah,
learn. I mean, it's not a history lesson,
Yeah.
but yeah.
I picked up the book Say Nothing because I had heard about it on a true crime podcast, and they didn't give away anything. They just said it was about a woman who was abducted and never seen again. And I was like, okay, I'm kind of like, I'm interested. And
I love
not
missing people.
not to say just like that's a tragic story. So that's why I picked it up. I was like, oh my God, what happened to this woman? And then it unfolds it gets deeper and deeper into all these conspiracies that aren't really conspiracies because it's actually stuff that happened, and it's insane. I had no idea it was about the
I
IRA
want to read that.
when I first read it. I have it if you want to borrow it.
I do.
yeah.
Awesome.
That's
great.
It's crazy. It's heartbreaking, but it's so well done.
Should
both
I?
the book and movie?
Read the book and then watch the show, or can I just jump into the FX Hulu show?
I think you can jump into the show.
Yeah. Nice.
I think.
Maybe
Well,
that'll whet my whistle and I'll be like,
Maybe.
I want to read this book.
Yeah.
Wet.
Whet.
What?
Is it popping or slopping?
Fucking disgusting.
I'm gonna make it happen. Hey JD, what was popping for you?
What was
this week?
popping or slopping?
never like give him that.
Damn.
Always give it.
I just did though.
No.
It's too late.
Never. No,
It's been
stop it.
spoken into existence.
Are you telling me to say nothing?
Whoa!
We
I
should.
thought it was a
we,
sequel to Say Anything.
collectively as a team, you and I should not indulge his
Enjoyments?
worst.
Yeah, don't let him have whatever.
Joy.
Don't let JD have fun.
Never let JD like this. This is a fucking job. Look at that face.
Oh, speaking of not liking things,
Oh, God.
this is what was popping for me this week. I was at the supermarket today, and I'm a sucker for M&Ms with dumb flavors. And so now,
Everything. That's just M&Ms.
yeah, it's everything.
yeah,
everything with dumb flavors.
why
I just
li-
love a dumb flavor.
Why limit your world?
Yeah. So I picked up peanut butter and jelly flavored M&Ms, which I love. Peanut butter M&Ms are the jam. No pun intended. But
I don't like peanut butter
I
and
don't know if I
jelly
like
sandwiches.
jelly in my
I don't either.
M&Ms.
I like peanut butter sandwich. I'll do the red one.
Just one. You gotta have at least two. You have to have at
Give
least
me a
one.
handful.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna,
I don't like
Dylan?
peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I like preserves or certain jams on just toast,
I don't even like.
but I hate the
I eat the texture
jelly
of
bullshit.
it. It's the
Yeah.
texture. I like
It's-
peanut butter and fluff.
yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
The gelatinous bullshit. But if it's like spreadable preserves you get at the farmer's market, it's actually pretty damn good.
Hit or miss for me still.
It's basically pie innards.
Are you trying to take bites of a single M&M? That doesn't make me feel good about popping 5 in my mouth right now. But I'm gonna do it.
It tastes like a peanut butter M&M with fake fruit flavor in it.
Sorry, I'm chewing on my.
It tastes like
Right,
shit.
I don't like
Wait,
it.
you know what? It doesn't taste like shit. It tastes like boring. It tastes like food dye. Dead air.
I don't think. Well,
I just popped 5 in my mouth at the same time, so I don't want to chew on my.
Hang on.
I've just been ASMRing it.
Hang on. Let me
chewing right into
let me
Yeah, I
take
got
a
the mics cranked.
let me cleanse my palate with a 9.5% sour triple real quick.
I don't like it.
And then another one of these.
Oh,
Maybe yellow's better.
Here's the thing. I don't dislike it enough to not eat it. Oh,
It's
I
just-
like how I'm having
look.
an extreme reaction to this, but all the weird sodas we've had, I'm like, yeah, give me more.
You know what? You know what? I know this sounds
Can I wash
stupid.
this down with a Beetlejuice soda?
I know this sounds stupid because it's an M&M. It tastes so artificial. And I know that there's like nothing natural inside of an
It
M&M.
tastes like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich to me, which I don't like. So I
So finish your food.
don't
No.
want it. No.
like it's broccoli. The other. Oh,
Eat your
Dylan.
M&Ms if you want to leave this table.
If you want to finish your sour monkey,
Eat your M&Ms.
Dylan,
Yeah,
how is it?
it does taste like a peanut butter and jelly kinda.
Yeah.
But it makes me
Angry?
I just would rather have a peanut M&M.
yeah.
Or
I'd rather
peanut
have peanut butter.
I think I like peanut M&Ms better than peanut butter.
Me too.
M&Ms,
There's something
but-
satisfying about the crunch of it, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, I guess it's fine. It's
It's
not
fine.
awful. It's not the worst thing
Anyway.
I've tried on this show.
The other thing that's true. The other thing that was popping for me this week was I have been listening to a book. Here's the book cover. An audiobook of Grady Hendrix. So Grady Hendrix is a horror author, but he's not like he's sort of almost like a family-friendly horror author. None of his stuff is like it's not like Crossed, right, by Garth Ennis. It's not one of those things that shouldn't exist. He does like kind of a light horror.
Literally just saw that someone was hired to adapt Crossed for film.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That should not be on film. But anyway, this one is called
I just want to read it more now.
Yeah. I
We
do.
Sold Our Souls by Grady Hendrix. I had previously read a couple of his, My Best Friend's Exorcism, which they did a not so great movie of. They did a book called Horror Store, which is basically an IKEA catalog horror. It's like about a haunted IKEA. And the book is designed by Quirk Books. My friend Doogie Horner does most of the designing, and it looks like an IKEA catalog. It's awesome. He also did the Final Girls support group, which basically has the Final Girls from like Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th.
I wanted to
Texas
read
Chainsaw
that.
Massacre. Yeah.
But it's the name of the actresses who play them in the movies.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Yeah.
so cool.
We Sold Our Souls is about a woman who was in a band in the 90s and was on the cusp of like their breakthrough album. They recorded their breakthrough album called Troglodyte, and they were about to hopefully get there, you know what I mean? And turns out something bad happened on the night that they were supposed to sign their contracts, but none of them can really remember why.
Did someone sell their soul?
Maybe, I don't know.
It's right there.
It's in the name of the thing. So one of them goes on to be a superstar, like, I don't know, Marilyn Manson, like kind of cringy, but also superstar. And the rest of them just languish in obscurity. Their lives are not great, including our main character. And it's basically her tracking down the lead singer of their band, Dirtwork, which is a good name for a band. And all of the devilly things that happen, demony things that happen.
Cool.
So I really liked it. If you're interested in like, it's a horror novel for sure, but it's also very much about heavy metal, which I don't have a ton of experience. I didn't grow up in the heavy metal subgenre. I was more on the punk side of things. And so I would pause this. I was like, down in the t-shirt studio printing t-shirts, and I would pause it just to go find the band that they're talking about and give it a listen. And so I have a whole,
That's so cool.
yeah, I have a whole Dirtwork metal playlist on like Spotify or whatever.
Oh, I want to listen to it.
And it's like mostly 80s metal. But yeah, it's if you like a good horror novel that's not too much, I think We Sold Our Souls is a lot of fun. Pink Apocalypse says, regarding the Troubles of Ireland, In the Name of the Father was a favorite movie as a teen. I also recommend U2's song The Disappeared.
I am familiar with that song. I will have to check out that movie. Pink, have you watched and or read Say Nothing? I'm curious.
Pink?
Your thoughts.
We will not continue until you answer.
And then Robert says, Horror Store was great. Yeah, it's fun, right? Yeah, I like him a lot. He did a book called Paperbacks from Hell, wherein he looks at all of those old 1970s, 1980s horror novels that have all been out of print for decades. And he'll just kind of go through and like review them and talk about them and all that other stuff. And he actually, because of his novel, because of that book, it's not a novel, because of his book, Paperbacks from Hell, there is now a line of reprints with the Paperbacks from Hell logo on it.
Nice.
Of those old 70s and 80s horror novels.
Nice. Let's do that for VHSs.
Yeah. Yes, that would be cool.
Yeah, like old, very
VHS
bad
movies?
movies.
So anyway, yeah, check out Grady Hendrix. He's fun.
Very nice.
It's if you Google Grady Hendrix, he does not look like a guy who would write any of these things.
Well, I mean,
he
he's
looks
one
like-
of the founders of the New York Asian Film Festival.
What does he look like?
That guy.
That kind of, I feel like, I don't know if I want to say, Mike Flanagan, like he just looks like a dude.
Yeah. He looks
But
like
he makes some of my favorite stuff. I'm like, oh, it's just a dude.
he looks like a character from Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Doesn't
I
he?
did not say that, and I'm not
He looks.
agreeing with it.
He.
He does.
So it's probably just this photo shoot that we're looking at. He's in a. So for those of you that obviously aren't looking at what the hell we're looking at. Oh yeah.
Did you? Oh, here you
He
go.
looks. He looks like the pastor at a weird church where they have live snakes.
That's so specific, but so right.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like it's non-denominational
It's in
Christian
a
adjacent.
tent somewhere
Yeah.
in a field.
They have a building, but they
mud.
travel.
Where
Yeah.
you're like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is this a cult? Like,
It's so close.
it's
Like it's like, oh, everybody's
It's a
just
church from True
everybody's
Detective.
everybody's
season 1.
vibing, and then they pass around a basket with venomous snakes in it.
Everyone take one.
Yeah.
Pink says, I burn through a couple of books a month. They're nonfiction only. I'll add it to my list.
yeah, I don't know if I specified that. Say Nothing is nonfiction. I don't want to get sued. Some people who are depicted in it disagree with the depiction of themselves and are suing Disney currently.
Uh-oh.
But mostly nonfiction.
Oh,
And
he's got a new book coming out, Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. Yeah, I like him. Grady Hendrix. Anyway, that was popping for us this week. We're here to discuss something else, though. And one of
Two
two
something else.
somethings else. Creature Commandos is what we're going to start with. Released this year, 2024. No, last year, 2024.
Both.
Season 1
Yeah.
Just ended a couple weeks ago. It's got a 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's directed by Sam Liu. Am I saying that right?
Sure.
Liu and Matt Peters, written by James Gunn, starring Indira Varma, Alan Tudyk, also Sean Gunn, David Harbour, Frank Grillo,
Wait.
and Viola Davis.
Not for Sean Gunn.
Sorry, Sean. Sorry, Kirk.
Gilmore?
So the fuck, do you do it for all or none?
Um,
Listen, he pulled Lulu.
No, there are two more.
Oh no, you know what? Viola Davis gets a
So one more. What?
Frank Grillo.
I mean, he's a grizzled looking good dude.
A group of non-human criminals comprised of an anthropomorphic weasel, a robot, the bride of Frankenstein, a radioactive skeleton, and Frankenstein, and their human leader are Task Force X with stopping an evil sorceress. So this is kicking off James Gunn's DC. Is it just called DCU?
Yeah. Yeah.
So James Gunn, for anyone who doesn't know, has ostensibly taken over the DC movies,
We have a
entertainment,
whole
what have
previous
you.
episode about it. If you'd like to go back into the feed, James Gunn's DCU.
Which episode was it? Which number?
I don't
It
know.
was like 2 years ago. It was like CultPop 12, and I think it was one of the first episodes I did with y'all.
I
Wow.
definitely listened to it.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. We
I
did a
remember
whole thing
listening to it.
Cat's still in.
where this was announced. Yeah. Yeah. It was the whole thing.
So, this is an animated series called Creature Commandos, and I have almost no experience. You know what? No, I have no experience with the Creature Commandos as a comic book. Have you read a single issue of that?
Yeah, like the later stuff though, like the one shot Johns in the last like 15, 20 years, not the original stuff.
Yeah, okay.
More Howling Commandos than Creature Commandos.
How do we approach this?
I mean, it's monsters. It's monsters. Suicide Squad monsters. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel. It's just fun,
What if it's Suicide Squad but with monsters?
basically. And honestly, too, in the context of the world, that's the plot. Like, Waller's not allowed to use humans anymore, so she
Right.
gets around it by using
Non-humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Piece of cake. Like, why it's not broken? Why fix it?
All right.
That's kind of her thing.
I was annoyed in the first episode when Flag pointed at the bride. I was like, isn't she a human? And then she goes, is a corpse human? Yes.
Yes.
Yes. A corpse
Flag
is
was
human.
right.
Just dead.
Flag was
A
right.
corpse is human. It's a human corpse.
I mean, she's a lot of humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's a few
she's several-
different ones.
Yeah. She's multiple.
She's multiple. You know
humans.
what? It's even worse because she's multiple humans.
Yeah. Is she many humans? Maybe. So it's a 7-episode series, animated. Each episode's about 30 minutes long. And it's weird to say this is the kickoff of the DCU. Not really. It's just the first thing in this shared continuity.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't.
How is that not the kickoff?
Kickoff implies that this is the beginning of a larger initiative. So I would think, like, the only thing we can compare it to is Marvel.
Yeah.
So when Marvel, like, these movies are the kickoff of this entire phase of one focal point that will all meet together in the Avengers. This is just the first thing in this shared continuity. Yeah. This is likely not going to, plot-wise matter for 3 movies from now kind of thing. It's just in the shared universe.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
I only parse the language because people online are so fucking semantical about this stuff. This isn't like part 1 of 12-part story that is DCU. It's just new continuity. That's it.
Are you trying to tell me that there are people online who use this as a reason to hate things?
Yeah, there's
Like
this
being
like
mad at James Gunn?
there's this meme online that he's a constant liar.
People
I don't
online
get that.
hate things.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, people online are mean?
Yeah. Like, he's a liar. He said it was the kickoff and it doesn't actually apply to Superman's plot. Like, fuck off. Fuck off.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing. So, like, yeah, I'm
Why I'm not. That's why I have an app blocker now.
yeah, it's cool. Anyway, yeah, 7 episodes. It basically tells one full arc in this season of these Creature Commandos, this Task Force M.
Yeah.
Being sent to protect a princess at a Palokistan.
Sure.
Just a fake country.
Yep.
But it's not as easy as they thought. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then murders happen.
What did-
Violence happens.
What did you think?
So what I thought was I was very excited. I'm a big James Gunn stan. I like me some Gunn. Have you
Careful
have
how
you
that's
seen
taken
that?
out of context.
have you seen
clip that.
Slither?
I haven't.
Bro,
I mean,
Bro.
it's pretty good.
it's pretty fun. Anyway,
I don't know. That reaction says it's more than pretty good.
This is one of my favorite things of the
It's so fun.
2000s.
So fun.
Yeah.
You
You're
guys
gonna
have
love
asked
it.
me about it. Yeah.
So I was excited about this. I think it's kind of a perfect project for James Gunn.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I cared that much about it. I was a little disappointed by it. I don't mind violence. But something about this particular project, I was talking to someone today at the comic shop, about the violence in this show, and then they brought up Invincible.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, that's another really violent cartoon.
Yeah.
But the way that the violence is handled in Invincible and the weight of the violence in Invincible, I think is what's missing and what makes the violence in Creature Commandos feel edgelordy and unserious. Which I understand I understand it's a comedy show, but James Gunn does try to inject pathos and drama and human relationships into what's going on in this show. And I think that the violence, which is kind of absurd, and the show has glee takes glee in the violence, if that makes sense. Like, it really relishes the violence and it lingers on it. And it just feels a little immature to me, which is a bummer because I was really looking forward to this.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to Invincible, when a horrible, violent thing happens, it is acknowledged and there is a weight to it.
Sure.
And there are repercussions to it. And I feel like because of the comical violence in this, none of the drama is as heavy as it could be if there wasn't the comical violence. Does that make sense?
Sure. I don't agree, but I totally hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is not Guardians James Gunn. This is not even Slither James Gunn. This is Super.
Oof.
Which I liked.
I like
sounds
Super
you
too,
didn't-
but no, I like Super
No,
too.
this is
It's
the-
a very uncomfortable movie.
This is the tone of Super.
Yeah.
Like, it is to the wall, very, very on its nose, very edgy. Like, the characters are edgy and idiotic, but this is like that tone. So it's either like a wavelength that you find funny, or you're like, I don't feel cool here.
See, I disagree. I don't think that this is like Super at all. What I love about Super is that it is this sort of almost comedic look at what would happen with superheroes in real life if they tried to be vigilantes.
I think the tone is the same.
And then the weight of the violence hits like a hammer,
Yeah.
and it injects a sort of realism to the characters that wasn't there previously. Like that to me feels more like Invincible, where the violence in that is shocking and horrible.
You didn't find the violence in this shocking?
No.
Again, I disagree with you. Like the GI robot sequence, I think that was actually very uncomfortable and shocking. The
one where he's like up in the air.
the one where he finds out that his benefactor is a Nazi.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I do think that those moments do exist. There's weight to this stuff, but it is juxtaposed with these are fucking talking monsters. Like, it is a very weird wavelength, and I don't think it's for everybody. I would actually have trouble recommending it to everybody,
Right.
but I also do think it works in the little microcosm that it is. I don't have too many problems with it, and like I think it is the same tone as Super, but for Super, it was an entire movie that got you to that weighted point. This is every 20 minutes a cycle of like the entire show. Every single episode is what's happening in Palakistan.
Sure.
If I'm even saying that right. Juxtaposed with the background or origin of one of these monsters.
Yeah.
That is almost always a tragic, and
Yeah.
what's happening here is ironic or oddly comedic. And some of the episodes are much more successful in it than others, but overall, I do think that is the same chord he's trying to strike that he did with Super.
I also think there's some interesting choices here that don't work for me. Like Gogol Bordello, I think is the soundtrack band for this. Is that who does those songs?
I don't know. It's a bunch of different bands. I thought.
Is it? Oh, I thought it was mostly Gogol Bordello. But there's the perfect example of this for me is the scene. You've only watched 3 episodes so far.
Yeah,
right?
you can.
But you saw the Bride of Frankenstein going home.
Yes.
Was that the first episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is juxtaposed, like what she's seeing now. She has flashbacks to her relationship with Victor Frankenstein, which was kind of cool. And then there is a horrible revelation for her and what the Frankenstein's monster has done.
Mm-hmm.
And then it immediately kicks in with very silly, over the top, I think played for laughs music and a montage sequence
Of them fighting throughout the decades.
But it starts.
I love that.
I love that montage. I don't love how it starts, which is she's running out of the building, horrified by what she's seen and having nowhere to go, and it kicks off while that's happening, and then goes into the montage. There's no room for her to grieve or anything in that scene. As she's running out, the kooky music kicks in, and then the montage starts immediately. Like it gives no time for the weight of that scene for that character.
Right on.
And I was kind of like, this is a weird choice. And then we get into the cool montage of them fighting throughout the ages. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
It just
you see her as
started
like a flapper. And,
yeah, so cool.
A 90s grunge band.
It gave me trauma vibes. I was okay with it.
Yeah.
I actually thought it was wonderful.
Well, he's a trauma guy, right? James Gunn was a trauma guy?
Yeah, he was an intern. Wrote a couple things for Lloyd.
Kaufman.
I really enjoyed it. I don't think that it has like. This isn't like I waited and then watched a bunch. Like this wasn't like I couldn't wait every fucking week and oh my god I'm there. The music. I
watched them all in like 2 days. Yeah.
Music choices you're talking about though, it does remind me of something. And I'm sorry to get off topic. Sam and I watched a new movie on Netflix this past week, Back in Action with Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz.
What?
They're former spies that fake their own death because they are together and they're gonna have a kid and they start a family.
Sorry, Jamie who?
Jamie Foxx.
Oh, Jamie Foxx. I'm sorry. Who's the guy? Who's the guy from Scream?
Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy. I thought it was Jamie Kennedy.
Jamie Kennedy's
That's
not
why I was like, what?
Jamie Kennedy's not hireable at this point.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, so it's like they get discovered and they have teenagers and they have to defend them and save their names, blah blah blah. But the movie does this thing where every time there's 3 sequences in the movie where there's like a dual hand-to-hand combat scene where they're fighting together a bunch of bad guys. Every single time they juxtapose the action with an American standard, like fucking Neil or Frank Sinatra is playing while they're it's soundtracked to Frank Sinatra. First time it happens, it's like, I get what you're doing. You're juxtaposing this song that is playful to violence. Cool. Does it a second time, does it a third time, does it a fourth time, to the point where it's just like, fucking cut it out. Like you are relying on this one note crutch instead of just score, other music, anything, fucking sound effects instead of Frank Sinatra or Nat Cole or just
I get it.
Enough.
Yeah. That's how I felt about this.
That is not how I felt about this, because these were songs I'd never heard before. They are eclectic. They are of a vibe of Polikistan, as opposed to you're just trying to get somebody's member berries.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't think is like a good tool.
It was a swing. Like the soundtrack is a swing. There are definitely different bands, but a good majority of it is Gogol Bordello. It also has the Dresden Dolls, Coin Operated Boy, which I love that song.
I was going to say the Coin Operated Boy for that scene
for
with
GI.
GI. I really liked.
Time-wise, not the best timing. It's Amanda Palmer, who is Neil Gaiman's ex.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think this show was more good than bad. I do fear that everyone thinks this is what the rest of the DCU is going to be like, and that's just so stupid.
We saw the Superman trailer. There's nothing like this.
Doesn't matter. People
I'm excited.
are stupid.
I'm excited for Superman. No, he has everyone. everyone on Twitter seems to think he only has the one vibe. And like he has shown over and over again that he's gotten multiple approaches. What's that?
I just said vibes.
What did you think of what you saw?
I liked what I've seen so far. I can see what you're saying though, with the more serious things followed by a quick humor speed. But it didn't strike me as much as it did you. But now that you're pointing it out, I can see it more.
And I never feel that way. I'm never bothered by violence. I'm never like, no, that's so edgelordy. I'm just kind of like, cool, whatever.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this one time I was like, I don't know. It just seems they're kind of reveling in it, and it's kind of weird.
I was emotionally invested in the GI episode. I think partially because I was traumatized by the Iron Giant as a kid. Yeah. So anytime I see like a sentient robot, I'm like, oh no.
I do like GI robot.
GI is the best.
Yeah.
Also, too, I think the last episode, which I won't spoil, does have that emotional weight that they make you sit in for a little while, which for me forgave the other kind of like quicker moments. I think it's a good show.
Yeah, it's not that I dislike the show. I enjoyed it overall, as you say, a net positive.
Oh yeah. Christopher St. Saucy Goodnight just jumped in there. Hey Noel, you said fuck you, air quotes. When I said Better Man is a good movie, have you seen Better Man, or are you just assuming that it's bad? No, look, I said fuck you because I, for 2 weeks, tried my hardest to go see this goddamn movie. Not a single soul in my life wanted to bother going to see it also. And every single time I tried, I couldn't, and/or it left theaters. The last chance I had was last Thursday. A medical emergency happened and I couldn't go. And then the very next day, it wasn't at any theaters except if I had to drive an hour and a half away. Yeah. I wanted to see this movie and the world wouldn't let me. Yeah. So that's why I said, fuck you. I want to see this and no one else does.
I mean, I want to see it.
Sure, let's go drive 2 hours for this movie on a random Tuesday afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's there anymore.
It wasn't again.
It made me mad. It made me mad that you've seen it 7 times and I'm struggling to see it once.
He's peanut butter and jelly.
And it's made no money, so it's not going to come back to theaters, period. Yeah. Anyway.
Creature Commandos. Oh, did you have anything else you wanted to say about Creature Commandos?
I really like it so far.
Are you going to finish it?
Yeah, I'm going to finish it.
Okay, good.
I mean, I love the DC universe, and I also love anything with creature features elements in it. So I'm really enjoying it, but I feel like I'm less in the weeds. Like I never knew that this was a comic. Yeah. I don't know. I'm enjoying it.
You'll like it.
Yeah, I
Keep it going.
Much less knowledge of the lore.
I mean, I didn't have any knowledge of Creature Commandos either. This is my first time. Also, Alan Tudyk is awesome, and Indira Varma was wonderful casting.
She's the lead. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's the bride. Is so cool. I saw our buddy Randy, our son, the voice of reason, who was co-host of a previous incarnation of this podcast, and he's been on Gutter Talk. He was very angry about the way this show depicted Frankenstein.
Yeah.
This is, and I can't disagree with him. Like, he's dumb as hell, and he's only there to get his wife.
I don't think he's dumb. I think he's emotionally immature.
I think he's also dumb.
Same.
I actually don't think he's dumb because you see him with wealth and resources, and he's not dumb. He's just emotionally immature and has one goal.
He's emotionally unintelligent.
There you go. Yeah, but he's not like he has done very, very well for himself for the last 200 years.
Very different take on Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I only know the modern version of DC's Frankenstein. Yeah, and he's a yacht with like strippers.
Yeah.
I've only seen the modern version, which is like the Lemire, the Seven Soldiers of Victory.
That's where I know him.
Which is Grant Morrison, and then the Lemire stuff, which is very earnest, Agent Frankenstein shit. Yeah. This is not that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's Creature Commandos. You can find it on, what is it? Max, the one to watch for HBO. And then Wolfman dropped this week.
No. Wolfman
dropped this week. Is it? A snort.
Did you ever watch The Soup with Joel McHale?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he goes, chicks, man. He's like, chicks, man. That's what I keep saying. That's how I keep saying wolf, man, in my head.
Wolf, man.
Thank you.
Written by
Lee Winnell.
And starring Christopher Abbott, Julia Warner, and Matilda Firth.
Lee Winnell. Do you know who Lee Winnell is?
No.
He is the original writer of Saw 1.
Oh, okay.
He also plays.
Now I know
He
who
also plays the other guy, not Carrie Elways. That's Lee Winnell.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
he's an actor, too.
Adam?
Yeah. There you go.
I love Saw.
Wow.
Well, Kos
So,
and I watched.
Adam.
Kos and I had a Saw movie marathon on our first
He's-
date.
The first one's so good.
He's
Yeah.
he's an actor.
And he's gonna marry me.
He's an actor, writer, director. So he was in Saw. He wrote Saw. Is in Saw. He wrote. I believe he co-wrote the first Conjuring, and he plays Keys. He's one of the other characters, the other ghost hunter. He wrote and directed Upgrade.
so good.
Shit, I had
Such
no idea this was
underrated.
him.
He wrote and
I love
directed The Invisible
Upgrade.
Man, which I know you don't really care for too much.
I like it well enough.
And he Cooties, I think he wrote, as well as is in. He's one of the kindergarten teachers.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh my god, wait.
He's wonderful.
I don't know if
Like
Kos
he
is
is
still in the chat.
He is a
He knows
very
that he's
he is
the
a
Saw guy.
very accomplished writer, director, and actor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because of his work on Invisible Man, I was like, oh, great.
It started a trend that will probably end now of him being hired to reimagine Universal Monsters
Yeah.
by a Blumhouse.
Yeah.
So The Invisible Man happened. It was very successful. And then
Cool
this was
idea.
his next thing.
And it had something to say, right? It was making a point, making a commentary, which I liked. And so I was really looking forward to Wolfman. I think I watched one trailer just so Sushan could see the trailer, but otherwise I wasn't planning on it. And went and saw it the other night. And we're going to give our
Sorry, I just choked on my last sip of beer.
oh, I did.
Sorry.
I went and saw it the other night, and we're gonna give our quick overview, and then we'll get into spoilers. So we'll let you know when spoilers happen for this movie. So yeah, anyway, I went in. Look, I was very excited for this, and I like a good wolf movie. I like a good wolf transformation.
Ginger snaps.
Ginger
One
Snaps.
of my favorites.
The American Werewolf in London, classic, so good. And so yeah, I was really excited to see what he would do with this. There are elements of this movie that I've never seen in other movies. There are action sequences. Well, there's an action sequence that I think was shot balls to the wall. Such a good, cool way to shoot that accident. And then some of the elements of the POV I think is so cool, and the way that POV switches in this movie I think is really solid, really well done. And I was like, ooh, I kind of like, I like that.
Were you like woo or ow?
Ow.
Noel's gonna leave.
I gotta
And,
go. It's just too pontific.
this explains a lot. Costa, I don't know what that means, buddy.
That
Lee
the guy
Winnell.
who's in Saw directed
I
wrote
see.
this.
So, other than those little things, I can't say this was very good. I think the 52% Rotten Tomatoes score is accurate. I walked out disappointed. I respect, I'm trying to say how this, the wolf transformation is handled differently than in a lot of other lycanthrope films.
Costa pointed out it reminded him of a zombie transformation.
Yes. It is more of a virus.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? Like, I know that the Wolfman tail is always a virus kind of thing, right?
Right.
But like this way, the way that they built him out felt like just like a gross
And, like
virus.
the little text at the beginning of the screen too, like they set it up that it's a
A fever.
a fever, yeah, like
Hill's fever.
The Hill's fever.
Hill's fever.
It's yeah, it
Yeah.
metastasizes like a virus, not just
So-
like a change of, and it's not like a full moon bullshit.
I was gonna say it's not dependent on the full moon.
The thing that I think really got me excited for this is Julia Warner from, I love her so much, and she is so good in Ozark. And we had watched a television show, a Hulu show about that woman who like pretended to be rich.
The Anna Delvey.
Yes, Anna Delvey.
Yeah.
I think
Yes.
that was Netflix.
Yeah, whatever that was, very good.
She was in Apartment 7A, and she was
Yes,
very good
she
in
was
that.
Great in that.
Yeah.
And so I was like, ooh, Julia Warner. Oh, Christopher Abbott, the guy from Girls, that's fine. But Julia Warner, she's gonna act the shit out of this movie.
Christopher Abbott.
Christopher Abbott is the guy from Girls.
He's in Girls.
He's in Girls.
I've never watched. Girls.
And she is given pardon my French, fuck all to do in this movie. I'm offended
They
that
underused her for
they got Julia Warner to do that role, which is just the absolute run-of-the-mill damsel in distress, what do I do kind of role.
I actually don't even think that's that interesting.
It's not even that good, right?
No, it's not even that interesting.
Yeah, I was really bummed walking out of this movie. I drove through a snowstorm to go see this, and
Coast is very upset that I took him to see this movie.
what a
So,
bummer.
what did you think?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. I didn't like this movie. I didn't like it, but I don't think I hated it as much as everybody else.
Oh, you don't know what I thought yet.
You texted us earlier, and I think
Yeah, I didn't say. Yeah, sorry. I said Wolfman, more like Woof Man.
Did you not get that from the Slash Filmcast?
No, I didn't see that.
That's one of their jokes.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, it's
those
one of
vague and
Noel's
oblique
jokes, and they took
references?
it.
Oh no, I didn't
It's one of
listen.
the vague and oblique
I don't. If I know I'm going to see
So-
the movie, I don't listen to the show yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it after. Good.
So I agree with that.
Woof, man.
And I think if I didn't love it, and I even going into it, I wasn't excited to see this. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go see this, and then I sat down and I was kind of like, oh, I don't really want to be watching this. And I was like, you know what? I'm not here to see like anything new. I'm here to see a creature feature movie.
Yeah.
I'm here, so let me enjoy this creature feature. And I started to get more into it, and then it just went on. And then it kept going. And I think if they tightened it up, it could have been a decent, not the best, but decent werewolf movie that was an allegory for generational trauma, which they kind of get into.
A shitty.
And breaking the cycle. Yeah. And it's safe.
I also feel like this is the 400th movie to deal with generational trauma in like 2 years. I just feel like
everyone
every
making
horror
movies
movie-
now has generational trauma.
Yeah, yeah.
What's one that did well? What like?
Hereditary.
Hereditary.
That's
There
the
you go.
one.
Did
We were-
you're so right.
We were
That's
so
the
excited
one.
for Umma, which is also about generational trauma. Not great. But God, are you?
No, yeah, I didn't love it, but I think I was kinder to it than everybody else at this table and my fiance.
I think the biggest sin this movie makes is that it's boring.
Yeah.
It's just boring.
Yeah.
Everything is it is not plotted speedily enough for you not to pick apart at
Yeah.
the seams, right? Like it's so the opening sequence, which is like a prolonged, almost like cold open of the main character Blake as a child and his father, how protective and crazy his father is. Still did not strike me as abusive, just very, very protective and strict.
Emotionally unintelligent.
Yeah. There you go.
And he's an emotionally intelligent father later in life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because, the things that we want to do the most, sometimes protect them from their scars ends up scarring them. Yeah. I get it.
Because they tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. It was like, it wasn't subtle.
Yeah.
But
And then
yeah,
they started
that's just
hammering
it.
home.
It wasn't subtle, and it took
I mean, to
so.
be fair, I don't think Invisible Man was subtle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that wasn't boring.
Yeah. No, true.
Yeah,
True.
like even the idea of his dad on the CB radio, and they close in on his tattoo. Like, okay,
That was telegraphed from the credits.
I can't wait for that to come to play. And then he gets the letter that his dad is dead. Just everything about this is so obviously plotted that, and then it's so boring in between those plot points that all I was doing was waiting for that obvious thing to be validated. Oh, and now that obvious thing is going to be validated.
There was one
now that
obvious
obvious thing is
thing.
going to be validated.
For me, that wasn't validated. That I'll get into spoilers. Like,
Oh,
it was
okay.
a missed opportunity,
And then
in my opinion.
The last thing I'll say too is that it was so boring that the climax, what should have been the climax, happened 20 minutes before the fucking movie ended.
You gotta say climax.
And then
was there one?
And then it was just sleepy.
Yeah.
Like the idea. So there, it's not. We'll get into spoilers.
We'll get into spoilers.
Yeah.
So none of us recommend, if I may speak for all of us, none of us recommend Wolf Man 2025. Dylan, did you see this movie?
I did not, and I'm
Can't
glad
wait.
that I did not make the effort, I guess, based off your reviews and everything. Because I do like Christopher Abbott. I do like him.
You love girls.
Well, no,
I know.
I like him in. I like him in. Oh, what's it called?
Possessor.
Oh,
Possessor's fine.
he was in
I
that.
didn't like that movie either.
Yeah, but I like him in Sanctuary. I like him in It Comes at Night,
Oh wow,
and I
God, he was in that.
I forgot he was
yeah,
in that too.
I like him. He's in Poor
We were
Things
just talking
too,
about that.
Oh, that's right.
which I forgot.
Yeah. Damn.
And then
You know what? I'm sorry, Christopher Abbott. I short
Christopher
shrifted
Abbott.
you.
he's
sorry.
in. I cannot remember the name of the show. It's Bill Pullman. He's a detective.
I know what show you're talking about. It's
Yeah,
on
he's in the
Netflix.
first season
So-
of that
Oh, that's right.
with
what's her name?
what's her name? Jessica Biel.
Sinners.
Jessica Biel.
Oh,
Sinners.
Sinners. Yeah.
That first
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
first
So
season was
good.
bonkers.
First season's awesome.
If y'all haven't
He
seen
plays,
Sinners,
Sinner
yeah,
is
the
good.
husband in that,
episode
yeah.
season 1.
But I
Jessica
like
Biel.
him. Also, he's handsome.
Yeah.
He is handsome.
So
did
you're-
you do that for him?
I
You didn't.
just did. We're gonna get into spoilers for Wolfman 2025 starting now. Go ahead.
Oh, so I went and saw this afternoon. I was in the theater with two other people, just two, whole theater, and they were all in the same row.
Wolfman.
They were like 10 seats away from me. They both left when he started gnawing off his ankle.
Oh, that was
Okay.
awesome.
Because
I love that scene. That was
Wait,
so good.
Can I tell you my reaction?
I could feel them like losing the movie and just like, let's go. When he gets caught in the bear trap and starts gnawing off, she was just like,
Oh, I love that.
and they both just left. I mean, it's a good beat, but like, you could tell at that point in the movie, like, okay, we're in the end game. This isn't going to get any better.
Yeah.
They were like, and it's not like they were trying to beat traffic. This was 1:30 in the afternoon in the fucking middle of nowhere.
Costa, if you're still there, correct me if I'm wrong. But if he wasn't my ride of the movie, he would have left at that point. I had to cover my mouth because I started laughing, not at that scene, because I turned to look at Costa and he was just like, he did not want to be there, and I just started cracking
That's
up.
hilarious.
I was like, "Oh my god!"
I
I,
also-
dragged him
I
to
thought
see
it was
this with
gnarly.
me, and he hates it.
And when he's doing this and he's like
Oh.
scratching his own and like gnawing at his own
I
wound.
almost gagged at that part,
Yeah.
but I also ate
And
a
then
lot
he's
of
and then he's
peppermint patties.
and then he continues chewing it.
Yeah,
Is one of the gross things.
and then he stops and he kind of looks at her, and I was like,
Like-
"There's."
Oh.
I was like, imagine if he just like comes to now and he's like, "There's no coming back."
There's-
From this. Like, I gotta leave.
So
My bad.
the spoiler being that there are two wolves. There is the one that
There's two
infects
wolves
them.
inside of you.
Yeah, good wolf, and objectively they feed the good wolf.
One is Benicio del Toro.
Yeah. The
See, he was in the last werewolf movie.
the
That's a
entire
joke.
yeah, we get it. Joe Johnston, we get it. The director's cut's actually pretty good at that movie.
is it?
Oh yeah. There's
Two wolves.
There's two wolves. The whole movie, it's obviously telegraphed that that's his fucking dad.
Yeah, the whole
Duh.
time.
The whole time. Duh. We're waiting for the movie to realize that we already fucking know. They finally do come to heads, and then he dispatches his dad, and then you look at my watch, and there's 25 minutes left. Like, that was the emotional climax of the movie. And now we have to have a really, really boring, sleepy chase.
Go ahead.
Can I say the one thing that was like the obvious thing that I thought the plot point they were leading up to? In the beginning, when he's a kid and he's hunting with his dad, he stumbles upon this mushroom.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And his dad's like, "Don't touch that mushroom. It'll kill you in seconds, especially if you eat it." And I'm like, oh, okay, he's going to become a werewolf and he's going to sacrifice himself by eating one of these mushrooms when he like realizes what's happening.
Yeah, like he's about.
He has to traumatize his family.
Wouldn't
No.
that be better? He's like about to attack
Yeah,
them,
and
tries to
I don't-
stop himself, and he's just like dead, and then in his hand is
The mushroom?
mushrooms. or
That's
something.
literally
Oh,
what
that
I
would've been so much better.
I said that to Coast and he goes, "You should have directed
God
this."
damn
I
it.
was like,
It's
I was like,
Ah.
I thought, why introduce that mushroom?
it was
You're
so
not gonna
it was
God
all
damn
so
it.
boring. But the thing is, the movie it's a tool to use. Like, there's a lot of really cool times when like they use sound and space to create tension. But the movie has no other mode, so it's just boring.
I just, okay. Can I? There's things I really liked about this movie.
Are we going to talk
There
about
are
the
certain
perspective?
things-
And I love that.
And
I'm
the
talking
spider.
about. Yeah, I love all
All
that.
that shit's so good.
But spending 6 or 7 minutes her revving up the truck, that wasn't tension. That was just time.
Did you see that there was going to be a wolf sitting on top of the foggy windshield wiper moment in the truck?
It was in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even see that in the
Yeah.
trailer. I don't think I watched the
It
trailer.
was in the trailer, but like
I didn't
it
even
was
know
just
that. I
waiting
was like-
for it. But
So,
either way,
yeah,
it was
there's
just
gotta be a
like
monster.
constantly
the windows
waiting
are
for stuff.
coded in such a way that nothing would ever be coded. And like, oh, I wonder if there's going to be a surprise out of this coded window.
She wipes the windshield.
But
Wolf.
what I
It's me. It's me.
what I did truly love about the flick though was we were seeing the perspective of him changing and
So good.
them trying to communicate with him. He can't hear language
Yes.
anymore.
love
And then by the end of his full transformation, you see his perspective again. They don't even look like they have faces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like everything is
glowy eyes.
unfamiliar and like they all have elongated faces and stuff. That was really cool.
Loved it.
Make that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the other things I really liked is, and I didn't really realize it until after a little while, but he's there and he's taking apart the shelves, and he's great idea, by the way, nailing to the floor so that the door can't open
Yeah.
Yeah, you
instead of
can't push
just
the shelf.
propping something up
Yeah.
where it's like fall over. I was like, oh, that's actually really great. The fact that he is there and he's trying to tell his daughter to go to bed and she's just staring at him, and then he turns around and sees his wife and he's like, I'll be done in a minute, and they just share a look for too long, and I'm like, why is she not saying anything? That's so weird. And it's not until later that you find out, oh, he's not speaking English anymore.
Yeah.
But we don't realize that until we're told that, I think, by her, right?
Yeah.
she's on
He's
the
just-
she's on the
he's
horn.
He's like he can't talk anymore.
Yeah, I don't think he knows that he's different.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really nice reveal.
Oh, all of that was super
So
awesome.
good.
That whole like center section of about 25 minutes where he's transforming is just like, I think that's what that's the movie he wanted to make.
Yeah.
And then there's this other boring ass shit in front of it and after it. But then also too, like, what's the point of all this?
generational trauma.
What's the point of all of this? How it ends? Like he
know.
confronts his father. Like what is the thematic point that the director is trying to tell you?
Again.
Which, how do they find it?
How
did they know where to go?
He told him it was in between the two, and like,
Yeah.
The Twin Peaks.
it's enough.
My problem, the movie, as it's telling us, is that generational trauma cannot be defeated. You have to, even if you're trying to avoid being violent and treating your family different than your father treated you, you're still going to do it, right? Because he uses violence to kill his father, even though he's trying not to be violent. Right? So, like,
Well,
what is the movie telling?
I guess he asks to be shot, but then
because
attacks
of her
them anyway.
telepathy?
Yeah,
It's your job to read minds.
You hated this movie.
That was like that was like a super cute thing, but
It's too cute by half.
but the idea, like, the movie doesn't, I don't think the movie understands or knows what it wants to actually say, because so they have the little girl say like, oh, he wants it to end.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you know? But also, that's not breaking the cycle. That's the cycle being broken. So our main character did not affect fucking anything.
Right.
By the mushroom.
Yeah, if he had killed himself,
good.
if he had ended things, if the and I fucking hate armchair quarterbacking another movie. This
That's
doesn't
what I
make
was
any
like. I
sense.
almost didn't want to say it because I'm like, I don't want to make artistic choices for the movie.
If
but-
the battle with his father was the actual climax of the movie, and he found his humanity in a climactic moment, that's breaking the cycle. He's not. The main character is ineffectual to the fucking movie, and he's just a force of nature.
Things
Which
happened to him.
I
also, they build up that father-daughter relationship, and the wife expresses how much more rapport he has and how much more comfortable they are together, right? Like him and his daughter have more of a connection than she does with their daughter. And the whole emotional backbone of our marriage is kind of at a hiccup right now and we're not really connecting. Let's go to this place and have a real connection. And none of that comes to an emotional head for me specifically. Like I was waiting. You know how she does that line? If you want to stop me, you're gonna have to fucking kill me.
Yeah.
Like that meme. But like at no point does that come out of her. At no point do I feel like they are connected in anything more than just like we're maybe roommates. And there's nothing between the father and daughter that reaches an emotional apex for me. When you said climax and I was like, was there one? There was nothing emotional for that climax at the end for me at all.
I think
it was supposed to be.
I think Julia Warner was miscast. Not only does she look nothing like her daughter at all, but also too, like, her job in this movie was to, I guess, just reassure him that she loves him.
Does she?
They have a conversation when he's like sick of, you're my best friend, I want to do everything with you.
Yeah, but he can't hear it.
But he can't understand it or hear it.
That's true. That's true. That's actually kind of cool.
But it doesn't carry any weight because that's the only conversation they have
about it.
Can't
hear it.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not. I think they were aiming for tragic and they landed on boring.
Yeah. No, I agree.
I didn't. If this was just fun, that'd be cool.
Can I talk about fun parts?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good.
No, I just wanted to talk about the makeup, but go ahead.
Oh, the makeup. Talk about the makeup.
I understand what they were doing. Hey, let's do a werewolf movie that's more like we're going to really lean into the virus thing, and we're just not going to make a werewolf. And part of me goes, oh, it's a really cool idea. Like, he's pretty gross looking. But part of me I went to go see a werewolf movie. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't get like a really cool werewolf transformation.
Yeah.
Like the whoop,
Yeah.
What were you going to say? I'm sorry.
I did like certain aspects of his transformation. Like, as you can tell, he's starting to feel like sicker, and like our perspective gets like weird when we're looking at him, and you almost get like a little dizzy as he's like transforming.
Fuck, dude! I am a sucker for a fixed camera shot.
Fixed camera.
So I was like on my seat and ready to love this movie during the truck crash.
Right?
Yes.
Ready.
Right?
I was
So
fucking
that's when I was
ready.
like, okay,
Masterful.
this is what I'm in for.
But no, the movie doesn't.
No.
it doesn't match that energy.
Did you guys like the spider?
I love
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
spider. First of all, I'm going, why are you going towards that sound?
I was like, is
There's-
his dad in the closet?
Yeah, there's obviously a werewolf in your home, dude. Like, what are you doing? And then
Bro.
it's a spider.
It's a werewolf.
So what a
It's a
great
giant
reveal.
spider.
What a great
Yeah.
reveal.
I liked. So I can't say I missed the atypical or the typical
Transformation?
werewolf.
Yeah.
I was fine with this. I liked the setup of it being like a fever, and they called it the face of the wolf. And then we got to see the extent of it over years in his father's face, where he actually loses his lip, and it kind of becomes almost like an underbite smile kind of looking thing, and then it's just like hair. I dug that, but when we finally see Blake transform, he goes through this really cool sinewy kind of breaking
Chest
stuff,
popping.
And he, like,
and then
knuckles.
he literally breaks
Oh,
his
yeah,
own
he
jaw
breaks his
to
own
like.
jaw.
But then the after effect of all that, he just
It
looks the
seems the
same.
same.
He looked the same.
Yeah.
So you don't have to give him more hair. You don't have to give him a fucking snout. But like, motherfucker dislocated his jaw and rearranged it.
Yeah.
Should not look like Christopher Abbott anymore.
Yeah.
Just shouldn't. Period.
No, I agree.
Yeah. Like the knuckles were moving.
Yeah.
It was
his
all.
nails.
They did
All
part
really
of the-
cool.
Yeah. The nails that
It was
Yeah,
the
all.
they
nails
nailed
pop
stuff.
out and then nails underneath.
It was really, really cool. I just don't think it didn't go enough. It didn't go far enough.
In every direction.
Yeah.
It didn't go far in any
It wasn't
direction.
fun enough. It wasn't. It wasn't
Wolfy enough?
It wasn't horror enough. It wasn't gory. It wasn't grody. It was just some body transformation stuff or body horror type stuff. But it wasn't even enough of that.
Oh, man.
It wasn't enough emotional resonance. It wasn't enough. It just wasn't enough.
So as they're running to the house and they're like, oh, here's my dad's house.
Which time?
We-
They've run to
I'm
the
sorry.
house so many times.
The first time, we're like, my dad is a survivalist and he's armed to the teeth. So we're going to get to this house and we're going to have a
Oh, okay,
fucking.
okay.
Oh, there's not a gun? There's no guns in the house?
Oh,
The
well,
survivalist
he
who
does-
has tons of guns?
He does check inventory and everything's gone.
Why?
He went hunting for the.
He took every single gun he had and then became a werewolf?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's
showed up
as
as,
after he was a
as a werewolf.
so.
like,
Like the Punisher?
fight me now.
So two things.
Yosemite Sam.
One, I think it's a problem that the movie gave you time to think about that.
Yeah.
Two, we don't know what happened over the course of 20, 30 years
That's true. He had been.
that depleted his home of resources and because he became like a hyper focused recluse. His dad did. So, I mean,
He was hell bent on killing a werewolf.
whatever.
And then he
dude.
had no weapons in his home. Just saying. It's another in a long list of
I
strange choices.
the fact that the characters thought there would be resources there and they get there and there's not is fine. It's a beat.
No,
It's
I'm
fine.
not saying they thought that. I'm saying I thought that. I was like, oh, here we
And
go.
the fact that the movie gave you the time to actually like start to think about that and wonder why is a problem.
Yeah.
It's just boring.
What a bummer. I was really looking forward to like a fun, gnarly. werewolf.
Don't bother with this. Watch Upgrade.
Upgrade's fantastic.
Just watch
Also,
Upgrade.
watch The Invisible Man. Oh, that's the other thing.
Upgrade's better.
Elizabeth Moss and her performance in Invisible Man. I just don't understand how we got from that performance for that actress in Invisible Man and then to this, what was given to, what is her name?
Warner.
Julia Warner.
Well, I mean,
Like,
she's not the
why
lead.
did she sign on to this movie? There's like nothing for her to do.
Maybe it ended up on the cutting room floor. I don't know. It was just the character was boring.
Yeah.
Everything was boring.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Boring is, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought I was turning into a werewolf once, and I posted about it on Facebook.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I
How-
had a
did you?
fever.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was watching a werewolf
Was it Hills
movie.
Fever?
Yeah, it was Hills Fever specifically. I had fever, and I was watching a werewolf movie, and I was like going in and out of sleep, and I was like, oh my God,
Were you 25, 26?
20.
Nice.
20.
Do you-
And I was like, oh my God, wait, when was the last full moon? And I literally tried to like calculate back in my head. And then I tried to post on my best friend Ashley's wall on Facebook back when posting on people's walls was a thing about how I was turning into a werewolf. And I made it my Facebook status. And I got a lot of concerned messages.
Wow.
I dig it.
And then I deleted it. And then I wrote on my friend Ashley's wall about how I thought I was turning into a werewolf. And yeah.
And then she did.
And then I did, and I'm a werewolf, an actual werewolf. And
We don't record on full moons.
full moons now.
Yeah, you're a supernatural werewolf. None of this virus bullshit.
Yeah, no.
You guys have a favorite werewolf movie?
I mean, I guess the answer is American Werewolf in London.
Right? That's the answer. Have
I
you
do
seen
love-
American Werewolf in London?
Yes, but I do love ginger snaps.
Ginger Snaps are so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
right.
Dog Soldiers.
Ooh.
I still have to watch that one. I
That's a
haven't.
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dog Soldiers
Yeah.
is really good.
Who's that by?
Neil Marshall.
Neil Marshall. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of Wolfman and what your favorite werewolf movie is.
Wolf. Man.
Man.
Not Wolfman.
Wolfman. And that's it. What are we doing next week?
Necrotronic and Strange Darling. It is our listener-supported web episode.
Thank you so much, guys, for sending us movies. I'm really excited to watch both of them. And that's it. We're
Yeah.
done. Let's get the F out of here.
Bye.
Sleep.